time for another Coffee with Kilroy, or what I like to call beverage in a book. My beverage, coffee, at least for the time being. Yours, well, that's up to you. Have something you enjoy, have something healthy. Don't know if coffee's that healthy, but we'll find out. Anyway, the book today is an old one, but I thought I would go back to it or bring it up in light of all the developments of the war game book genre, and I use war in print and quotes there because some of these are really not war game books or games in that effect. They're have a lot of different variety, and this is one of those varieties. This is a choose your own adventure type of book. It kind of fits in that genre, but not perfectly, not quite. This is more of a reading history and being presented with a historical situation, and then you make a decision based on that. You make a decision, and then you kind of check to see, well, how did you do? Did you follow the decision of the leaders, and whether it was right or wrong, and you have that outcome, or did you make the right decision if the leaders did not make the right decision in that case, and have a different outcome of the battle. So this is basically a history book, kind of giving you a few scenarios, some battle scenarios, and then you are presented with some decisions along the way, and you just kind of measure yourself up against the commanders of the day, or the ones that actually had to make the decisions that day, and see how you did. And so, not quite a choose your own adventure. So in the respect of, this doesn't branch off. This is not based on like, well, I made this decision, so then I go down this track, and I make that decision, and I go down this track. This one is pretty linear. It's situation, decision, situation, decision. But it has that same feel. That's why I kind of put it in the choose your own adventure genre. And also I created a new tab down below on choose your own adventure type games, because I've been covering a lot of these, again, war game books, and there's going to be more that are coming up that fit closer into that choose your own adventure vein. And so I'll be putting those in this one and those in that tab as well, or in that playlist as well. So with that, let's have a sip, and let's take a look at this book. This is by William Seymour. As I said, this is an oldie. I've had this book for a long time. I think I got this Military Book Club. Anybody ring a bell? Anybody? I think this was one of the books I got from the Military Book Club when I've been a member of that 2 or 3 times in my life. Copyright 1982. So I've got this in the probably got this in the late 80s, if not early 90s. So what you have here is your contents. So these are the battles. So there's going to be a list of plates. So there's definitely plates. That kind of harkens to an older age. So the plates are the different images and battle maps and diagrams that you're going to need to understand the context of the situation. The battles it has here, there's 16 entries that you're going to be going through, but some of these are the same battles. Like you have the battles of Hastings, then you have Crecy, Agincourt, the Third Civil War. Then there's like 3 on the Saratoga campaign. There's 2 on Waterloo. Here's Chancellorsville. Well, there's 2 on Chancellorsville, Gettysburg, Palestine 1917, so World War I, and then 3 on Anzio. So not fully 16 battles, because there's some multiple decision points on some of the battles there. Here's your orders of battle, list of books consulted, and an index. Here's the list of plates. Here's an introduction. Then you go right into the Battle of Hastings. So this is basically, and I'm not going to do much of an exhaustive page flip because, spoiler alert, I'm going to spoil you on history. No, I don't want to show you what the decision points are and everything, because that's really what the meat of this book is the background context, which is, history, and then a decision point you need to make. So you'll have a few pages of history here, like this one's like a page and a little bit, and then you make a decision. So you got 1 and 2, you make a decision. Then it keeps on going, and then you make a decision, right? And whenever there's this little cross swords here, that's when you know that you've made a decision. Then it tells you what happened, what the outcome is. So, and then you get some diagrams here. So the decisions get a little bit more developed as you go through. This one, there's 3 different decisions you can do here, 1, 2, and 3, on what you can choose to do in that circumstance. And so there's a little map of that. And so they get, as I said, they get a little bit more involved. You get a little bit more maybe into the tactics of the day, or exactly what's going on. So like, here's options on how you want to do your attack, and how you want to send your forces in on that situation. So as I said, it again, it feels a little bit more like a choose your own adventure with these options, but it doesn't branch out as much, right? Or at all on some of these things. It really is just this, and then this is the outcome of it. It's all saying, measuring you versus history, right? This is what happened, and then this is the history. So if you really know your history on these battles, then this is not much of a thriller for you, right? I mean, you're going to be like, okay, well, that's what they did. But there is kind of a little bit of a what if in here too, of reading it and looking at the circumstances and trying to figure out, well, God, what if they had done that? What might have happened, and the like there. So that's just the first one right there. So there's several, decision points on the Battle of Hastings, and that's just the first one. So we're looking at, about 15 pages. 15 pages for the Battle of Hastings. So these right here, you can just pick out a battle, kind of go through them, and at your leisure. It's not something that you'd have to, you can do 1, 2, 3. Heck, you can do the whole book in one sitting if you want, but you can take these at your leisure and kind of read through them. And unlike a choose your own adventure, where once you've read it, it's like you're gonna have to put it down for a few weeks, few years, if you wanted to go pick it up again and try to understand a little bit fresh and try to forget what you did or what happened. This one is history, right? So this is all, you're learning something as you're going through these. So you're basically just reading history. It's just, you're reading about that battle, or at least this, Mr. Seymour's rendition or relation of that battle, the retelling of that battle. Let me get some coffee so I can get my vocal skills in tune with my mental skills. That's always a tough thing for me. Here's one right here. This is the 100 Years' War. I mean, there's 5 different decisions here. So you're getting into a lot more like what if situations here, but you got 5 different, these are probably the paths to take of the invasion here. So anyway, so that's what you have here. So a lot of not a lot, but a little bit of context, a little bit of history reading, quite a few maps that are in here throughout here, and it's basically, you're reading in history, and you're in the shoes of the history makers. So I kind of put these in somewhat of the RPG type realm. This one, you're role playing a leader. You're making the decisions of, depending on which battle, which leader, you're making their decisions on how they should do things. So I might end up putting this under that tab as well, because I kind of put choose your own adventures and RPG together in a lot of respects there. But not all RPGs are choose your own adventures, but most choose your own adventures are RPGs, something like that. And you got some images as well, because there's the Civil War. That's probably Gettysburg, or at least talking about the generals there. So you got some images in here as well. So this is basically, from a historical standpoint, it's a nice little reference. It's a nice little, a different way to look at history and put you in the shoes of the leaders and trying to make some decisions. So it makes it a little bit more interactive history. And isn't that really what war games are. It's basically interactive history. It gives us the chance to put ourselves in those shoes of those leaders and make those decisions on the battlefield, whether it's at the strategic, operational, or tactical level, of moving units around and seeing how history unfolds. And so it's interactive, and that's the reason why I like war games, because of its interactive nature. The tactile feel of the units and counters and dice and charts and player aids and making decisions and maneuvering around on a map. That interactive nature of it is something that I like, and so this is a book form of that, if you will. Anyway, so there he is. There's Mr. Seymour. That is what I have today. Yours to Reason Why: Decisions in Battle. The book that recreates decisive moments in 10 great battles and campaigns and gives the readers the commander's role. So that's what I have for you today. Love to know if you have this blast from the past, this from 1982. If you've had this, read it, went through it, what you thought of it, loved it, hated it, disagreed with Mr. Seymour's historical analysis of the situation or the key pivotal decisive points. Love to hear any of those comments. Or if you're just interested in this. I don't know if this is still around. I haven't looked at this on Amazon. But anyway, I'm covering this whole series of war game books, and I'll use quotes there for war games. But war game books, and I want to see, I felt like this felt in here. I felt that this belongs into that whole genre. And I'm probably going to do, again, I promise at some point, I will do kind of an overview, an exploration of the entire genre as I have collected it, or as I know it, which means that as I collected it. And give an overview of kind of where some of these things fit and how they fit in there at some point. But I've got more to do. In fact, the big push I have now is choose your own adventure type stuff. There's a whole host of choose your own adventure war game type books that I want to cover, and so that these are all represented in the whole genre. So anyway, that's what I have for you today. Love to hear your thoughts and comments on any of these things. Just love to hear from you. And most importantly, thank you for spending some time with me. I know it's precious, learning that a lot more these days. So very, very thankful and appreciative for anybody that comes on this channel and just watches for a second or an hour, because I do ramble on sometimes. Anyway, thanks so much, and have a great rest of your day. Thanks for watching.